Hi, hello, hi, and welcome to All Our Hearts and Minds. Thank you again for tuning in. We're here to discuss all things that have been on our hearts and minds, the good, the bad, the concerning, and uplifting, or just straight talk. We're your hosts, Kimmy, our passionate heart,
Yeah.
and then there's me, Jeanette, our mind and chronic overthinker. Let's get into it.
Yes.
Okay, everybody, we're back for a fresh episode in July.
Yes.
Our recordings, the last recording was done around the week of Juneteenth, so this is a fresh
Yes.
one. And so thank you again for tuning in. And before we get started on anything, let's just start with our checkup. How was your week, my friend?
My week was okay. It was a hot one, but I went into the office twice this week, which it's okay. But honestly, this office is cold. It is so cold in my office with the air conditioning.
Oh my gosh, girl, I've been dying. I've been
Girl,
dying.
I'm like, Ken,
Like
who do
literally
we need to
sniffling,
call? Like,
coughing. It's like I can't do it.
I get like honestly, I come in the morning and it's warm outside. Even in the morning when you're coming in,
Mm.
it's warm. I get there and it's like I'm putting on clothes left, right, and center. Like it's like I'm facing the Arctic. You understand? So I go now. I have my sweater. Then at work, I have like a shawl thing that I just throw on. Listen, this air conditioning, I'm happy for it. I'm not complaining about having it. However, can we turn this like just why does it have to be minus something in here? It's so damn cold. And then you go outside. And then you go outside. The day's done. Now you leave. It's so damn hot outside. It's like my body goes through so many different temperatures. Anyways, with the week itself, the week was okay. I faced the Arctic when I went in the office, but other than that, I'm still here. I'm still, kicking. My daughter, she started the camp, and the camp is good because she has some of her buddies that were there last year, and some of her friends are going to be joining her. And she just enjoying the camp life. They go on trips and stuff like that. They do crafts and all these things, but she's having a good time. So I'm happy when she's happy. And overall, oh, and then my parents have gone on vacation. They're hot
Oh.
footing and stepping all over the damn place. Like I can't with these people. I'm actually really happy that they are, but I do miss them when they're not around.
Oh.
But either way, I overall the week has been busy. It's been sun filled. It's been a good week. How about you, girl? What's
Oh,
poppin'?
I had a pretty good week. Yes, like you, I've been freezing.
Like I can't.
And I try my best not to. I'm like, I can't. Me complaining isn't changing anything. Let me be quiet.
Nobody cares.
Let me
I
just
figured
make
it
sure
out.
I bring my sweater. And the good thing though is my office is pretty big, so I don't need to sit at my desk. I can go somewhere else, and like we have a cafe or something that if it's really unbearable,
True.
I can get away from my desk and work somewhere else. Um, but yeah, this week was pretty good. My uncle is visiting my mom's brother. He's visiting from Jamaica.
Nice.
So just,
Oh,
making myself available to go and help them with anything because my mom doesn't drive. So if he wants to go out or anything, I kind of just check in and make sure everything's good and
everything's good. Yeah.
everything's honky dory at the house. But other than that, I had a good week. I've been in good spirits.
Been a good week. Yeah.
It's been a good week. Nothing crazy exciting, but also I'm just in a good place.
That's nice. That's nice.
All right. So we're gonna jump into our headlines. We have a lot to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And before we do that, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in to our show every week. Please continue to, as you listen, rate the podcast, give it a star, 5 to 3, 4, whatever star.
Yes.
Subscribe, follow, and we're available across all podcast networks and YouTube. So please continue to tune in. Thanks again. So headlines. So we're gonna start
Yes.
with the Forbes Top Creators
Yes.
of 2025.
Please.
this is an interesting topic because not only are creators are now are celebrities. People don't want to accept it, but it is what it is. We had a long conversation on this
Yup.
discussing Kai Sinat, but the reality is now in 2025 these people are our
They are the new it people, I guess.
they're
I
the
don't
new
know.
it people. Let's put it back in the day. You had to be a list actor
That's right.
or a big pop star, and nowadays creators have entered the stratosphere as well, which is fair because I was also thinking, we've had this discussion where when they ask kids, younger folks growing up, oh, one of the top things for a young person to say they want to be when they as a career is an influencer or
Wow.
YouTuber. Like that's
Wow.
one of the things that it's a new trend with kids today that wouldn't have been the case 15 years ago.
Yep. It's true. Bit
Um
sad, but true. You know what? It's not sad. I take that
It's
back.
no, no, yeah, because yeah, you have to the perspective, and I know why because we like what, but now we're about to talk about. That's why I brought up the top millionaires,
Can you
people who are
imagine?
like top, 25 and millionaires with that career. So it's like now, before when the news was coming out that this was the top job that kids wanted, it was like our natural instinct as millennials are to be like, "Are you sure about that? That's not good." But there is a formula to be successful at that.
Yeah, yeah, it seems as though. It
Hmm.
seems as though. Because when I looked at this list,
Hmm.
99% of them, I think maybe one might have like a business that they're known for first
Yes.
before being a web. Like, what are they? What? Here is my millennial brain. Okay.
Mm. Mhm.
Um, we like to put them in categories a little bit here, and
Mhm.
you're not an actor, you're an entertainer. What would we call you? A web person? Like what do you call them?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I understand they're creatives,
Yeah, well that's
right?
why I think the creator is the best word. There's so many words. Like I think influencer is dated now. I feel like creator is the most accurate one
But
because
it
at the
applies to so many other when I think of creator,
mhm,
I think of somebody who can create anything. It
mhm,
could be a movie script, it could be a painting, it could be like when I think creator. But I guess there is nothing to really classify them as.
mhm,
Because for me, it helps me to understand them more and where
yeah.
they place in our society, you know?
Yeah.
Um, right, right. So for me, I am having a harder time. I find adjusting to that
Mhm,
because people have to remember that millennials are a bit of a lot of things. We're a bit of the, I think it's Gen X or maybe baby boomers.
Gen X, it would be Gen
Gen
X.
X, Gen X with a touch of baby boomers because that's where our parents are baby
The parents
boomers.
are boomers, but I wouldn't
But they
put
have an
us.
influence on their children,
Mhm.
right?
Yes,
So
yes.
okay, so Gen X, and we are also a touch of what's the next one after us
Gen
again?
Z.
Gen Z. So, right. Now my brain, I can compute both of these concepts. I can compute. So for me, I need to understand like what role do they, like what would we call them or what are they, right?
Mhm,
Other For me, a lot of people would sound like me and say, well, they're just people that sit behind a camera, but they don't act. So
mhm.
it's for I'm having a hard time, people. As you can tell. Like
As you
I'm
can
having
tell.
a hard time
Well,
because I'm
and
trying
it's okay.
to.
It's okay, but I think as we look at these,
Right.
I'm gonna go through the list,
Yes.
the top 10. The list there's 25, but I'm gonna focus on the top 10. Um, just because y'all can go check it out, and maybe if there's an honorable mention, there's a couple honorable mentions that are not in the top 10. I will mention. Just because they've been growing so much. I'm surprised they're not in the top 10.
Right.
So I will start from 10 and go up to number 1. And number 10 is a guy named Cobby Lame. I don't
Yes.
know if it's Cobby Lame or Cobby Lame, but I know his videos very well, and he's
Yeah, me too.
global. He's a African. I don't know. He looks Sudanese to me, but let me not say his country
Right.
because I don't know. But he's definitely from the African diaspora, but he's based in Italy, and he amassed. I'm not a huge TikTok person,
Right.
so his base is his largest base is on TikTok, but he's very popular on Instagram, and that's where I found him. And he just makes these cheeky videos, no vocal, nothing. It's just traditional physical comedy or make sense comedy. And yeah, he's earning 20 million a year, so
Wow.
we'll go up there. Then number 9 is Drewski. Drewski, oh gosh, Drewski's been having a crazy year. He has a movie coming out.
Yeah,
He is
I
doing
heard
all.
supposedly he might have got some surgery done. Was
I
that
don't know.
plastic surgery? I don't know. Maybe
I
that
don't
was
know.
just a rumor, but yeah.
But
Um.
he has been on the grind for many years. And I think all that work has really manifested in the last 2 years. He
Mhm.
makes long form reality TV content on YouTube now. I think all the thing this it's not a surprise for me that he's on here. He was for the Super Bowl. He was in the Dunkin' Donuts Super Bowl commercial with Ben Affleck, and so he's been doing a lot of big things in the past couple of years, which makes
Yeah.
sense that he's earning $14 million a year. Or his earnings were $14 million.
Yowzers.
And then number 8 is a person named Mark Rober, and he's known for making content that is very like looking at like technical experiments. So he talks about NASA, and I mean, his videos include trying to fool a self-driving car. So very technical into like the whole
Mhm.
technical industry where all these breakthroughs have been happening. And he was a former NASA person. He used to work in NASA, so he's already into that
Wow.
world, and he's decided to use his channel to explore um, all things technological advancement and everything. Um, and he's very big on STEM education and STEM themed products. And that's an example of somebody who had he was an expert in something and developed his channel based on that.
And
So
that
he's
I can understand.
mhm,
That I can That's why I was talking about categorizing. Like, okay, this is more in my mind, he's like a documentary type of dude. Like a
mhm,
guy that is exploring, science and exploring diffusing things that we might think of
mhm,
science, or there's a purpose for what he's teaching or
mhm,
what his videos are about, right? It's
mhm,
debunking science and
mhm,
all that has to do, he's from NASA. Like,
mhm.
goodness gracious. I mean, I can understand his channel, the purpose,
Yeah,
it
I think
having a purpose.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I for me, like as somebody like Cobby Lane or Drewski, you're still providing entertainment, right? So
And that's the thing, is
mhm,
they do fall under entertainment for me, but for me,
mhm.
I need you to explain 25 million. You know what I mean? Like, I need to know
Yeah, but remember,
why.
how they make money. The biggest chunk of money they're gonna get is partnering with brands. Like
That's
they're
true.
still getting money from you
That's
get
true.
the ads that from YouTube or wherever the ads that they're thing. But the most money is gonna be coming from partnering with brands, and just that alone will get you into the millions. And so
Right.
that explains a lot of the two ten the two like Kabi and Drewski have partnered with have big partnered with big brands, and that has also contributed probably to that huge earnings
Hmm.
number. Okay, number 7, Matt Rife. He's a comedian. I've seen his stuff on YouTube.
He's funny.
I think he's funny. He has a particular brand.
Yeah.
It's so interesting because when he had his special on Netflix, it's like he got a little bit of backlash from his female base, but I think he's gonna be all right. So again, it's somebody who's using his talent to, or using social media to expand his comedy, his stand up comedy career. So his earnings was 50 million. And I think probably that probably has a lot to do with not just the channel, but he's also the earnings that he made from his Netflix special. So that's Matt Rife, number 7, obvious. Number 6, Charlie D'Amelio. That's a big name. I've heard of her name. I think the
Yes, and
younger,
I don't particularly like this girl.
you don't like her. You
I
know, have
do
your daughter.
not.
You
Her
have a
and her
young daughter.
sister.
So you see, you from your daughter, you probably know about these
No,
these
well,
ladies.
no.
Mm-hmm.
If we go back to the very beginning of her Charlie's career,
Mm-hmm.
there was a song called Renaissance. I think it was
Mm-hmm.
called Renaissance, and there was a dance, the
Yeah.
Renaissance dance, and it was a young black girl who actually created the dance and made the dance,
Yes.
and she put it out there already on, in the social atmosphere, and Charlie came along, did the same dance, actually copied the girl,
Mm-hmm.
and made millions off of it. And then
Yeah.
there was a point in time where people were like, "No, no, no, no! She didn't make that dance. Charlie was trying to pose off like she created this dance, like she was the first to do it, and she wasn't." And they debunked it, and they showed that no, it went back to this young little black girl, who was maybe 14, 15 at the time, who created this dance, and there was big backlash for Charlie, and
Mm-hmm.
then the young girl and Charlie and her sister ended up doing the dance in a video together.
Yes. That's the least. That's the least.
That's the least that
The
she could
very
do.
minimum
Yeah, but you
least she
already
could do.
made millions at that
Yes.
point,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So it's after the
It's a
fact.
moot point, and that's another common thing. So one of the darker sides, especially I would say with TikTok in particular, there's something about, like, I think the TikTok algorithm, if the TikTok algorithm is very sus when
Very
it comes to creators and what they look like.
right.
And
And what I
so,
didn't like
mhm,
about Charlie, sorry to cut
mhm.
you, but
Go
what I
ahead,
didn't
tell
like
me.
about this situation particularly was all it could have took Charlie was one shout out to that young girl. That's it.
Right?
That's all. She could have just said this dance was from, or even if she didn't speak the words, she could have put it in the comments. She could
Mm.
have put it, on the screen before she did the dance. She could have done a
Because she
whole
knew what
lot
she
of
did.
things.
She knew she stole that.
She knew what she did, but it wasn't until she got called out for the nonsense and people went, you know how they on the big social media, on the big internet, on Beyonce's internet, you know how these people are. They went digging and they found this young girl. And the young girl was even on Ellen DeGeneres at one point
Hmm.
doing the same damn dance because they were like, no, she should get her shine. She made the dance up herself. It went like everybody was watching it, including Charlie. Charlie did nothing about it. Her and her damn sister stood up in the damn video trying to act like, oh, they invented this. Like, please,
Hmm.
I'm sorry, not to be rude, but neither you nor your sister look like you got enough flavor, enough rhythm in your backbone to think of a dance like this. But she did nothing about it. She did nothing until she got called out. And when she got called out, then we seen, oh yeah, well, no, I'm not doing that. And there's lots of people like her.
Yeah.
There's lots
And
of
that's the
people like her.
problem with, I think, this form of entertainment, let's say, when we were talking about creators, is that
Yeah.
everybody's just, it's hard to find originality. It's just kind of like who stays consistent enough, who gets enough looks, is enough, looks the right part, even to the point of this story, um, which determines who blasts off, to be honest.
But
And
at
not really
that
just the
point,
views.
for
Everybody gets
Charlie,
the views, right? It's not just the followers and the views. Any Especially on a platform like TikTok, it's like it's geared towards virality or
right.
viralness or whatever you want to call it. So lots, you'll see random people with a whole heap of followers, and you look at their page and you're like, how the hell does this person have a whole heap of followers? It doesn't make sense. So it's not
Right.
that's just that, but it's actually the brand deals, and when the
Hmm.
quote unquote traditional media kind of leans
Hmm.
into them, where those people just blow out of the stratosphere
Yep.
and can jump
And
to
that's
getting earning
exactly that.
$23 million.
This is exactly what happened. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's when it's like, okay, well, I don't know. I have a hard time. We'll talk more about it when we
Yeah.
talk about what's
Yeah,
his
and
name.
so we go up from her to
Yeah.
Alex Cooper, who's most known for her podcast Call Her Daddy, which started with her and a partner. She had another co-host, Sophia something, and they were on the Barstool Network, and they really got crazy when they sold the show. They had a contract with Spotify for $60 million, a 3 year stint.
Jesus.
Somewhere along the way,
Jesus.
I don't know, it was before or after. I feel like it might be before. She lost her co-host and she continued the show. And just recently, earlier this year, she got a whopping $125 million
Okay.
multi-year contract. We don't know how many years, but I would hope it's at least 10. But either way, however you split it, that's a lot of
Right?
money.
There's a lot of damn money.
And so she got a deal with them. And she has now, from the success of that show, created a podcast network, and which a bunch of other shows outside of her show Call Her Daddy. She has obviously brand deals and such of that such stuff of that such. And she's earning $32 million, and I think it's just because she's actually working. To your point, she's an actual podcast creator. She's a podcast network owner, and so that's generating a lot of money. She doesn't have as much followers as Charlie, but she's making $10 more million in her. Next is Rhett and Link. They are known for the best-selling cookbook, the mythical cookbook.
Hmm.
And so they do a bunch of comedy. They have a lot of streaming channels across different platforms, not just
Hmm.
YouTube, but they're very popular on YouTube. I know of them. They're one of the bigger channels, and
Hmm.
they're pretty much a media empire. As we talk about how these people grow and get so much money and stuff, it's like it's a business, and they are building on whatever content they're making and expanding it to different avenues of revenue. So they're one of the bigger ones. Third, Jake Paul, controversial, but I could see him and his brother have been on YouTube, one of the longer time YouTubers. Like it's to the point where, listen, they're doing boxing now to get outside of that. I don't know, but Jake Paul is number 3 with $50 million in earnings. And obviously they've maintained their channels. I don't know
Hmm.
what's on it. Like they started like typical YouTubers. They do pranks and all these random things, but now I know they definitely have a podcast. I've seen that. And obviously all the boxing content now,
Yeah.
as they train and have these like celebrity fights, has also brought a new level, I think, of fame for them. Like Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson was massive,
Hmm.
to say the least. Number 2 is Darman. This is another media person who has built a media conglomerate with YouTube. So he's a producer of YouTube shows, and he has established a full-fledged Hollywood studio with hundreds of staff. He makes back to school specials. So this is just somebody who used YouTube as a platform for his creativity, as a a writer,
I've
and
seen his videos
yes, he's
before,
very
and
popular.
and I do like his videos
Mhm,
because it does talk about life.
mhm.
Like a lot of his videos has to do with life and how you treat people a certain way, expect to be treated a certain, like, those old wise tales that our parents told us and we were raised with. He lets those come to light.
Yeah.
He actually creates them in, I guess, short little films, or short, I guess, yeah, you would call it a short film because sometimes they're about 15 minutes or so. And I like it only because it's putting out a good energy for people to absorb. You treat people badly, this is what will happen. You treat people well, this is what, like these cautionary tales that a lot of the time goes ignored. I can appreciate that from him. A couple of his videos, that I've watched, I've kind of been like, okay, I'm glad that you're putting this out there. I'm glad that you're sounding a whistle on, these particular actions or behaviors that people will do to you, or something will be
Hmm.
done to you or whatever, and so I like him. But I will say his videos kind of get repetitive. They do get a little repetitive.
Hmm.
But there's nothing new under the sun. So I can't expect him to come up with, like reinvent the wheel or something.
Hmm.
He's just, bringing light to things that, our forefathers knew and kind of passed down generation to generation. So it's nice that he's doing that, though.
Hmm.
And it's nice that he's a brown guy up on the list.
Yeah, I think he's the only brown person on this
Mm-hmm.
top 10 list, to be honest. Oh no, sorry, we had two black people. Juicy and
Right.
Kabi are black, and then he's the third one at the second. And number one, can you guess? Can you guess the number one YouTube person?
Oh boy, here we
If you
go.
can't, just tell me.
It's
I think it's
Mr.
obvious.
Beast. I
Mr.
saw the
Beast. You
list.
saw the list. Okay, it's not a surprise. You saw the list. Yeah. And so Mr. Beast, no surprise to me as somebody who is watches a lot of YouTube. $85 million in earnings. This man is doing everything and anything.
Yes, in
So
my cookies in Walmart outfits. I
he's a
think.
ringmaster of stunts and
Okay.
challenges. He's expanded. He's another person who's built a media empire. He has a hit show on Amazon, Beast Games, and it's already been renewed for a second season. So that alone tells you he has a fast food chain, Mr. Beast Burger, and I believe he has some candy bars as well. His candy brand, the
Yeah,
Feastables.
yeah,
So he's taken the money or the success that he's had on YouTube and has expanded his empire to be number one in terms of earnings. And damn, 634 million followers on YouTube.
Jesus.
That's different. That's different.
But
It's
didn't
easy.
Mr. Beast start by giving to people? Like that's how he started,
I
by
don't know if that's
having
how he
videos.
started, but I think he did, like in his early success, he was like going to impoverished countries and helping them. So he's always been like you're saying, he's making so much money and he's continually creating. So he has money to do these projects to make content. It's creating a
Right,
whole cycle. So he does do it, but he also films it, and that's also, it's a which I'm not. Hey, you do that makes sense. You do what you got to do,
right.
because if he's using his earnings for those videos to help people, then I think that's fair. So yeah,
Yeah, I'll give him
so
that.
that's the top 10. Everybody go take a look at the top 50 Forbes creators. I think it's very interesting, and I personally, yeah, this is just what it is. Like
Well, that's the
creators
thing.
creators are the new, this is where people spend their time. The more people spend their time watching their social feeds, including YouTube, versus actual TV. Like we have a lot of cord cutters. What is really on TV? I don't know. Somebody would have to tell me. But I mean, I stream shows and stuff. Um, but yeah, and I think it's just going to be a bigger and bigger market for all the young people who are interested in pursuing it. I think it's a very viable and realistic way to make a living, and
Right.
this list tells us that.
Well,
So
I mean, they're millionaires. Like
yeah,
some
yeah.
of
So
these people
kudos.
make more than actual actors or
Oh
or
yeah. Oh
singers
yeah.
or
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
you know.
Without having to be controlled as much
Well,
as like
that's the
somebody.
that's the part. That's the
Mhm,
part that I really like, right?
mhm,
Is that it shows that you can still make it without having to be controlled by some sort of high entity or whatever.
mhm, mhm.
But what we were talking about when we talked about Kai Sinet. So Kai Sinet is 28 on the list, right?
Okay. Yes.
And I'm so glad to see this young man on the list. And as I looked through all of the list, it was really nice to see that there were a lot of black men that were
Mm-hmm.
on this list. There was quite a few, at least a
Mm-hmm.
handful of them,
Yeah, I agree.
and I'll take it. I'll take it every time. A handful, I'll take it. Um, to see that there are any black people on this list is really great, because the algorithms don't always favor black people.
It's yeah, that's exactly the story with Charlie. Yeah.
Right? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you got to really put in the work, to make this type of a list. But I
There's
was
only two
having
black women, but hey,
right.
we're on the list.
Hey, I'm just glad we're on the list at this point. It does take a lot. It does take a lot for a black content creator to make it to something like this where you're a millionaire. So I'm really glad for them that they found a niche, they found a way around. They didn't have to go through the matrix to get this type of money. They were able to do what they love at the very least, or do what they like. And so that's great. But I'm having a hard time when I see these creators. What is the purpose? Like, what? I don't know. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's not the purpose per se, but when I think of entertainers, let's take Michael Jackson. I was talking to you about this, and I said Michael Jackson had talent.
Mhm.
He could sing, he could dance. You know what I mean? He captivated people's attention. Now, these people are obviously doing the same, or they wouldn't be millionaires. However, you're sitting behind a camera, and I don't know all of the talents. I don't see all the talents. When I think of Kai Cenat, I think kudos to you, young man. You found a way around the matrix. You found a way to create generational wealth for you and your family. That's awesome. But what is your talent? Do you,
He
what
brings
is
joy. I think to me, it's like
he
if you
personality?
attack. I won't even use a word. I won't use that word actually. If you, at the end of the day, if you can hold somebody's attention for a few minutes on a screen, that is a talent. That's a
Well,
talent.
and I guess that's the millennial in me,
Yeah.
because now our society now, everything is so fast paced. We
Yes.
get tired with everything so
Very
quickly.
quickly. Yes.
But I still am of the mindset where you can have my attention for longer than 5 minutes. Like, I can
Mm.
still give you my attention for longer than 5 minutes. Now, will you have to be, doing triple axles and somersaults in front of me to keep my
Yeah.
attention? You might have to do that. However, you will have my attention. And once you have it, how do you keep it? For me, I grew up with talented people, that had some sort of a talent that held your attention. Like, when you think of a concert, right? Like a concert, people are on 10 from the time they reach to the time they leave. That is a talented person. In order for you to hold someone's attention for more than 15 minutes, which is the average of most adults, for hours, you got me on 10 from the time I came to the time I left. That's, to me, that's worthy to be called an actual talent. You're
Of
actually
course.
talented,
They needed
right?
talent to get to that status.
Yeah, right.
Mm.
So I'm not knocking these young people, because they figured out a way
You just
to
haven't
make
caught up.
money.
You haven't caught up, girl.
Well, I guess I understand what's going on around
Oh, you
me. I just
understand it, of
My
course.
mind hasn't gotten to a place where I can say you're talented because you sat behind a
Yes,
camera
it's hard for
playing a
you
game.
to say that. Hmm.
It's hard for me to say that, because
Hmm.
I'm of the generation where you gotta be able to get me up, get me vibing, make
Mm.
me cry, make me sad, make me happy. Like, I need to have you need to generate emotion in me, or you need to
Hmm.
generate something in me to keep me watching you. And
Yeah.
I think that's a real talent. If I talk about another artist, which I always said, if she was in the game, it would be a lot different. But if Aaliyah was still in the game,
Hmm.
this woman was doing movies, she was singing, she was dancing. And if we had given her, if she was on this earth for a little bit more time, God knows what she would have done. Like,
Hmm.
honestly. And that girl had me captivated. The girl is dead for almost 20 years now, and I'm still captivated by her talents.
Hmm.
That, to me, is talent, right? But if I don't remember the video that you did 2 weeks ago, I don't know how talented I can say that you are. You can produce a lot. That's great. Because of the time that we're living in, you have to produce a lot. Your last 2 weeks video is old now. So yeah, you got to be able to produce a lot, which I think maybe back then those talented people were not able to produce nearly as much and as fast because they had to use their talents, make a
Hmm.
song, choreography, videos, like anyway.
Yeah.
Don't worry people,
So
I come in man, I come in just
it's
now.
okay. It's just we don't have to justify why something is entertaining to you or not. It's just we know that there are folks that are in this industry doing very 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 well with that type of it's very vague, but the creator title.
I guess so. I guess so,
So
girl.
we're gonna move on from these millionaires
Right? Because they doing all right. Okay. They're doing all
to
right.
a quick local story before we jump into the rest of our hot topics. So
Yes. Up
excuse me,
here in the
we live
Canada.
in Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
Toronto is the capital, and so we have a place called Ontario Place that was shut down a while back. A while back now, I don't know how many years now, but whatever. They
See?
shut it down.
This how
It
they
used
do
to
it
be
in
a
Canada.
family place where we'd go to go on rides and go on adventures. They had the
Nice
Cinesphere with the
walks,
watch
paths.
movies. Yeah, it was like a little family place where you could take you take your kids or whoever you want even and just walk around. They have concerts. They have all these little things. So now, after years and years of debate and budgeting and everything in between, our government, the Ford government, Ontario government, the Ontario government, which is headed up by Doug Ford, has released some plans, and so the next stage of the redevelopment plan with some details, and so with what some of the things that will be included, and one of those things which has been it's been controversial because they have given contracts to some private companies to be a part of this project. And so some of the features of the latest release of the Ontario Place rebuild is a reimagined a cove. So it's kind of going to be like a beach, an urban beach with boardwalks, playgrounds, multi-level interactive tree houses. So basically, a lot of little activities and spaces for kids to play around and get
Yeah.
tired and have fun, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's a brig. It's called the Brigantine Cove. So it's kind of like a beach with and water park and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a new canoe and kayak kayak launch site, so you can do some canoeing and stuff in Lake Ontario, which surrounds Ontario Place.
Mm-hmm.
The Ontario Place Marina will become a vibrant hub with open air pavilions, boardwalks, and spaces for future programming. So that means like activities and like little amenities. It's still kind of vague. That's why, again, maybe one of the reasons why I'm not 100% sure what's going on here. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, the marina, as you can imagine, somewhere in front of the water, where you can do activities. A forum space at the park center will provide space for outdoor markets, festivals, and a 1 acre splash fountain. That will be fun for
Wow.
the kids. A splash fountain.
Yeah, 1 acre though. Wow, okay. Mm-hmm.
So showcase a 1 acre. Okay, I think it's more like a actual fountain, like maybe some type of spectacular fountain.
Oh, okay.
Right.
That's a
With
real small area what they're talking about, but okay. Mm-hmm.
and then there's going to be a 3,400 square foot indigenous cultural
Oh
pavilion
wow, okay.
on the East Island, offering a dedicated space for community gatherings, workshops, and learning programs. Of course, that's always good, where
Mm-hmm.
we include our indigenous community. They have
Mm-hmm.
space, especially on these lands,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's those are like the features. But like some
Mm-hmm.
quick facts: this structure will include
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
a includes pretty much, it's totaling about 400 million.
Jeez, on.
And but to be honest, that's only, there's, okay, here's a controversy. There is a 3500 spot parking structure
Yeah, right.
that's going to be right in the front, like, or
Mhm.
looks like to be in the front, and it's going to have the sign Ontario Place based on the designs that I saw up to today, up to recently. 3500 parking spot is going to be like a building, you can
Yeah,
imagine,
okay.
like, money making.
Because
And that's we're
parking
gonna
downtown, okay.
mm,
Been a problem since the 90s. Like, honestly, it's been a problem parking anywhere downtown, anywhere near Ontario Place. I think it would be a great idea. I don't know where they're gonna come up with the 400 million. Um, it might be from the tariff.
they're saying it's less. I mean, that's what the news and all the critics were saying. It's going to be 400 million to make. But even if even if it's 350 million, that's still
That's
a
not
shit
gonna
ton of
be
money.
less. They're talking about coves and stuff. They're talking about
Well, no, this is not. No, not. I think that the 400 million price tag is only for the parking lot that everybody hates. That's one of the things that people
oh
are.
god.
Two things that the people are criticizing, outside of the overall running of the whole thing, is the parking lot, which it is an eyesore. I think it's not a good place to put it. Like, I
Hmm.
get what they're saying, and obviously they're going to make money obviously it's a money making thing, because they said they're anticipating to generate a gross of $60 million a year from that parking lot. So obviously it's a money making thing, so even if
Hmm.
it is 400 million to make the parking lot,
They'll
they'll
get it
make back
back
the
in a couple
money
years.
within about 4 years or something, right? Or they're going to
Well,
make
you
back the
know what?
money,
Let's see if that will happen. Because
right? Because
things
that's
in
that's the
Ontario
thing.
take forever to finish. Um like, I remember about maybe a decade ago, they started that extension of the RT.
Hmm.
Um the RT is like a small inner city train. Um
Mm,
well, actually no, I would say suburb train. Because that's not downtown. But
mm,
like, that took, and it's still going on. They're still working on it. Okay, and it's been a decade. Look at the on Eglinton Avenue West. They destroyed half of those businesses, which, by the way, were all mostly West Indian cultured
mm-hmm.
businesses along Eglinton Avenue West. It's still not done. Still not done. So they take a long time to do things around here. Like a long time. And in the process, they cause a lot of havoc because, it blocks different roads and it creates more traffic, and businesses go under because no one can access the business. So I just hope that if this is what they're going to do, that they do a better job than the Rogers Stadium.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that. So just to wrap up on Ontario Place,
Mhm.
basically, out of the things I just mentioned, there's also the spa, the big therma spa that is coming from
Yeah,
that
we'll
company,
see.
which was a part of the contracting, which is also shady. Seems kind of shady to me. The private company that's involved in this development. Second, they're going to have the Budweiser stage, which is still there. We've been using Budweiser stage; it never went anywhere, but it's going to expand. And I guess we
Mhm.
have the concert. That's our concert space in Ontario Place, Budweiser stage, which is owned and managed by Live Nation. So that's another private company
Right.
involved. And so we go over to Rogers Stadium, which was created in like the North York area, west of North York, in Downsview, where we've been having some big concerts. So they pretty much made this 50. They could seat 50,000, which we can't do in our downtown
No. Mm.
venue. So 50,000 bloody
Mm.
people
Mm. I
can fit
couldn't
in
even
there.
imagine
Can you
leaving.
imagine? Like, that's
No.
scary to me. I don't even know if I want to be in an
No.
arena with 50,000
No.
people,
No.
because what I seen. Okay, so far from what I know, obviously Coldplay is the big one that's happened
Yeah.
in the past week, and they had four shows. I think of the four shows, they've done two of them.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe, yeah, I think they've done two, and then they're gonna do the wrap up the other two this week.
Mhm.
And then there was a K-pop group. I can't remember the name, but K-pop is very, very popular. So I can
Yeah.
imagine that's why they needed such a big venue. And it's been a disaster. So I believe the K-pop group was the first one, and it looked like the transit was a mess. Um, it was just a whole thing to get in and out. And again, that's the issue when you're in a venue with so much people. No matter what you do,
No
listen, you
matter
better
what.
you better leave early. you,
Right?
you better come very early, which I
Right?
don't think the coming early really works because everybody always has the same thought. But you definitely, most definitely have to leave early if you're trying to go home.
And that's the thing is that I paid my ticket to see this damn concert to the end. Why should I have to leave any earlier, right?
Yeah.
However, if you don't want to be stuck down there for another few hours, because where they put this stadium. Now, first of all, I don't even think they should have put it there. Like I
Mhm.
think but it's really too like out of the way, right?
Yes, it's too north. It's
It is.
too
It's too out of the way. It's
It's
not
too
on a
west and
main
it's too
line.
north. If you're based in Toronto, it's a ways out,
It's a ways out, and it's
especially
not
getting
really
there.
like on our transit lines where it's
Hmm.
easy to get on a train and get off of like you have to take a bus or something to the train station.
Hmm.
Um Parking would be ridiculous. The stadium looked quite large,
It's very large. It does look
quite
massive.
large. And I think it will be an asset if it's created well, like if it's built well. I think it would be an asset to Ontario because we don't have a lot of attractions. Like
Hmm.
there's certain times of the year that we have more attractions than others. Obviously, the summertime, like we have CNE and we have, well, when the Ontario place, I don't know what they're doing, but we
Hmm.
had the Ontario place and there's downtown, but we don't have a lot of attractions for you to visit. And so this would have been a really great attraction if it wasn't falling apart. Now, the clips that I saw of Coldplay and the different people,
Oh yeah, oh
I was
yeah,
just
that
like,
is.
wow, Toronto, really? Like this is what we have to this is what we're putting out into the world, because it's not just people from Canada that are obviously attending the concert. It's and everybody is coming to see the concert. And so from near and wide. And so I was kind of saddened to see like there's some structural issues here. Like we're not just
Yeah.
talking about trash around the place. Like we're structural issues.
Hmm.
If I'm in a bleachers with, my section alone is 10,000 people. Can you imagine? NASA. Mm-mm. But I did see that, they are going to try to remedy these things. They are going to
Yes,
try
they
to
did.
take care of it.
They came out with all the comments. There with all the comments from the people who's attended. So the main thing is crowd control. Because again, 50, you can't mess around with crowd control with 50,000 people. God
Okay.
damn it. Okay, so crowd control. Not a lot. The shading, like if it's hot, if you go out in a hot, it's
Yeah,
summer. These
because there
concerts,
was none. You're just open, like open land, just
of
open,
course,
open.
the transportation, like you said, it's a interesting place in the city. It's very northwest of the downtown core, and so the transit issue too, because the last somebody tweeted on the Coldplay, the last train leaves at 11:13. Concert was still wrapping up. She had to rush to try and catch a train. So all these I think transit logistics as
Yeah.
well. But anyway, it's a Rogers, I'm sure, is going to be on Live Nation's ass because
What?
Rogers' name is on that
What?
stadium. Live
Rogers doesn't
Nation is
play.
managing. Chris Martin came out and just
He just
said,
put us on blast. Like it was like, Chris, why you have to do all of that? Like you're doing too much.
so he pretty much hinted, he mentioned
He said
essentially.
in the middle of nowhere, okay, while he was about to perform, before he was about to perform, He made the
Yeah. He said
thank
to
you
this
everybody for
weird
coming out here in
stadium.
the middle of the nowhere. I was like, oh
Hmm.
Lord God,
So
here
he
we go.
apologized. He knew that there was some logistical things happening to getting people into seats and stuff like that. He was like, "Thank you for coming to this weird stadium in the middle of nowhere." And yeah, as somebody who's if your name is on the stadium, I'm sure the Rogers team was like, "What?"
Right?
So they need to fix. So I think that's where the pressure is going to come to Live Nation to make sure they fix these things. You know what? These were the first two concerts, and again, they're massive, massive. This is listen, 50,000 seats, and these were sold out shows. Okay,
Right?
people. So
I'm
this was no
telling you.
half capacity thing
No, this
happening.
was to the brim, to the
To the
brim.
brim. So
Okay?
anyway,
Yes.
well, we as we talk about this, it's like it's good to see that our government and our corporate, private people are trying to create entertainment spaces as the city grows and to make sure we have a infrastructure to get huge musical talents in our city for us to enjoy.
Yeah, and if
Um
any time, this is the time. Because guess what? A lot of people are not going to the United States anymore, and they need alternate places to travel. Well, look at us next door. Right next door. If we were to, in the next year to 2 years, step up our tourism here in Ontario specifically, um we could make a lot of money, a lot of money for our province and for our country, because people are looking to travel, and they want alternatives to travel to the United States. And Canada is a beautiful place, everybody. If you ever want to come out here, it's a beautiful place. There's lots of things for you to do. Even it depends on what type of person you are. We got stuff for you. Don't worry about it. We got stadiums, big ass stadiums of 55,000 people, or we got trails that you can, go down and see picturesque views and stuff like that, and the mountains and all of it. We have lots of things up here. But if we were to increase our attractions, I think we could make a lot of money for the province. And I think Ford is definitely on that bandwagon. He's definitely on it because he's trying to do something, change up something. And now is the time. Now is the time.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll move on to Jeff Bezos' wedding really quickly. Everybody was up in arms, or I don't know if they're up in arms, but well, some people were about it. It was a $40 million wedding to Lauren Sanchez, who is now going by Lauren Sanchez Bezos. And they had the wedding was in Venice, Italy, a 3-day celebration. Blood clot. Sorry,
3 days
3 days
of pure luxury.
of course, if you're
Pure
spending
luxury.
40 million, I'm assuming, because even for Bezos, $40 million for a wedding, a 1 day. I was assuming it was a 1 day thing. Now you tell me it's 3 days. That explains a lot, as well as
Yeah.
the fact that the guest list was a bunch of A-listers, all like A-listers like Oprah, um like celebrities like Seinfeld was there. Like on top of course the Kardashians. Kardashians showed face as well. But there was a lot of A-list celebrities outside of like the influencer people who were at this wedding, and I'm like, why though? Are you guys friends? Like, did you guys get bought? Did he pay you to show make an appearance? I'm sure he
Right?
did. For some of them, like, why would you be there?
Right?
It's not making any sense, especially with some of these celebrities who are supposedly on the Democratic side of things. You know
Well,
what I mean?
yep.
So that's the sus part for me. Her wedding dress was pretty conservative. I mean, she's Latin American. I don't know if it's a cultural thing because usually
Hmm.
very Catholic, they usually dress a little bit more modestly. Supposedly there was 27 outfit changes. That's what reported. There was many outfit changes. So maybe that was what I'm just seeing her in the ceremony gown,
Hmm.
which is very, I would say, boring.
Right?
It
I just thought it was one big bore.
was a
Um,
Dolce and Gabbana. Gabbana made the dress.
in terms of Jeff Bezos, like, I
Mm.
wonder if Jeff Bezos had ever thought when he was personally delivering packages that he would reach to this point where he's spending $40 million on a wedding. Um and I say that because I have a hard time, especially with billionaires like Jeff Bezos,
Mm.
who deliberately their don't try to make their employees a priority,
Right.
right? And so Jeff Bezos has been in the news many a times, about how he runs Amazon and how he, in terms of his employees, how he treats employees, how, all of these talks. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know. I can appreciate, a nice fairy tale wedding and all of that. But when I see it's off of the backs of everyday people like myself that you are able to blow $40 million, yet you can't increase your wages, or you can't make it mandatory for hour lunches and breaks, and you run your employees dry, and if they say anything or talk up about it, you toss them away like yesterday's trash, and
Hmm.
then you want me to feel happy about your $40 million 3-day wedding.
Mm.
I'm sorry, I have a hard time doing that. I really have a hard time doing that. um can I celebrate other people that have, millions and billions of dollars, and whenever they're having a particular gathering or whatever they're doing, I can. But with Jeff Bezos, I have a hard time.
Mm.
I really have a hard time because it's been years now, that people have been complaining about the work conditions of Amazon. For many years now, people have complaining about how they just disregard and throw away their staff. Like, it really irkses me to now see this same man, right, spending $40 million on a wedding. It's his prerogative. He's made the money. He's
You know what I wonder? Again, I'm disappointed by some of the people that I saw at the wedding, namely Oprah, Usher,
like,
a
are
couple
you
of other
kidding
people.
me?
Did he pay? Did they go get a free trip to Italy? Like, I need somebody to tell. I need somebody to confirm this. Like, if
But
you're telling me,
he's only inviting celebrities that can pay the bill to start up their own personal jets.
mm,
Excuse me. But Oprah going to Italy? That's like a Wednesday night for her. Like, come on.
true, she doesn't need a free trip from Jeff Bezos. I hear
Come
you.
on.
I hear you.
You're inviting, look, I think what's it called? The Kardashian family was invited. They went
Yeah,
too.
yeah. They're all of them were there.
I think all of them have their own personal planes.
I don't know about that, but they
I
were
know
all there.
Kim does.
Mm,
Kim definitely has her own personal plane. So you invited people that, okay, hey, maybe I'm just out for the common man. Maybe I prefer to, root for the common man. But when I see such, he didn't have to do that this much. Like 3 days, really? That's a little excessive, if you ask me. That's a
yeah, not
little
even yeah.
excessive,
Yeah, so that
especially if
was the
it's not
wedding.
cultural.
And
So
now we know where some people stand. It's like it's all like Oprah. I don't know about you, Oprah. Like I don't know. I'm feeling a way about
Oprah seems
Oprah.
to be having herself in positions, knowing people that she just shouldn't be around.
Yeah, right. Considering anyway, so we'll move
Okay.
on to the
Okay, I know what
Texas.
you're about to say.
We're gonna move on to the Texas floods. Really quickly. The tragedy. Prayers up to
Yes.
those in Texas. Um, I'm trying to remember the city. It's
A good portion of Texas, though.
is
Um,
it? I thought it was like a particular area. Let me see where
prayers
exactly.
up. Well, while you look for that, prayers up
Yeah.
for the people in Texas and the floods. And, um, I pray that it stops, the flooding, it stops. people can find their families, if you've been separated. And what's nice to see is that the people of Texas will help one another. They help each
They
other.
did the locally, yes.
They definitely help each other because they realize ain't nobody coming. Ain't nobody coming.
Mm,
Ain't nobody coming to help us. We out here on
mm-hmm.
our own. And the fact that they didn't turn into, well, survival of the fittest kind of thing, and they're actually helping each other, like, honestly, my hat goes off to you that are helping other people who are less fortunate than them. I saw clips, and honestly, it gave me shivers because I saw people's full homes going right down the river,
Mm-hmm.
right down the street in the water. A full house gone, just like that. Prayers up for the little girls from that camp. I think there's about 10 of them that are missing.
Yep. Oh, the camp. Yep.
They're
Yep.
out there looking for them. Prayers up for them, those little girls. Um, this is why, I'm gonna sidetrack, and I know I've been sidetracking this whole damn episode, but we're
It's
gonna
okay.
sidetrack.
You know what, we're going with it. It's been a while. We're gonna go
Right?
with it.
You remember back in the day when you had like different what is Girl Scouts and stuff
Hmm.
like that? Girl Scouts taught you fundamentals of survival.
Hmm.
It did. And if this is the type of camp, from what I'm hearing, it might not have been, it might have been more of a religious thing, more of a Christian based type of a camp. But I hope that they taught these young ladies survival tactics and skills and stuff like that, because it will come in handy. It's going to come in handy. And hopefully they have, and hopefully those skills have come in handy while they're waiting to be rescued. But my prayers go to their families who are looking for their children, for all the families out there who have lost anybody or anything. um, Prayers up for you and your families. I hope that all the rest of the states are paying close attention. I hope they're paying close attention, because if you think there's someone coming, there ain't nobody
Yeah,
coming.
that's what I was gonna bring up. Well, it's like you said, the flood is in northeast Texas area,
Hmm.
but specifically the ones that probably where we're seeing a lot of devastation is in Texas Hill Country and Kerr County, where that we've had over 100 deaths, including 36 children. Um, and of course, Donald Trump just literally today, within the last couple of days, signed a disaster declaration for the county, which is sad, which is because this is a few days after, it's at least
It's
four,
a
3 4
week.
days. It's a week
It's a
now.
week.
And then on top of that, the minister, not the minister, but the woman, the federal person who's overseeing
Hmm.
what's going on, it took her 3 days to say anything.
Oh, okay.
You are literally the federal head of natural disasters.
Well, I'm not
And
even gonna falter, because you know what? They
mm,
just took away half of her staff, or majority of her
mm,
staff. The whole we
mm.
what's his name? Elon Musk, when he came with his axe. Remember when he had his axe or saw or whatever he had out the other day? Yeah, he went and took an axe to all of these programs. All of these programs to help the American citizens have been either cut or destroyed altogether.
And maybe
Is it
there's why
FEMA?
he's
Is it
a
called
notion.
FEMA?
FEMA, you got it, FEMA. So Christie, so yeah, the FEMA acting administrator has been noticeably absent from the site. And but to your point, maybe it is a stand up, but I mean, when times of human tragedy, this is when the politics have to go outside the door because it's looking very
Yeah, but
nasty.
Trump, what you're not gonna do, Trump, is cut all my damn staff. Shit hits the fan, and then expect me to take up the
Yeah, yeah,
slack.
it's
Oh
true. You
no,
show up and you're the punching bag. That's hey,
no.
that's one angle. That's one angle.
That's what we're not going to do, because FEMA was fine before you came into power. FEMA was actually helping in disasters. Okay. When the wildfires, remember in California? Oh, yeah. FEMA was a part of that. Okay, yeah. Deploying people and getting
But
things going.
here's the thing, because again they had well, I don't want to get too political with this, but again we're saying the people, the positive side is, out of this tragic situation of flooding, and we've seen the terrible videos, is that locally the police, the first responders, the community is rallying to help each other.
That's
Fine.
right.
But in a state that most likely, very historically, I don't even have to say most likely, it is a red state.
It is
Their
a red
government,
state. It is.
is not moving quick enough to help them, and the FEMA person is being, supposedly, based on a news article that I'm reading on MSN.com, that is probably why they're saying that the Homeland Security Secretary, Kristi Noem, is controlling FEMA's response, because she's the one who's been there front and center. And that could explain the lack of presence of the FEMA
Yeah.
representative. So there's a lot of internal nastiness, but again, she still took 3 days to show up. So again, I want to stop there and say prayers up,
Yep.
and I
Yep.
hope you in the state hold your government accountable,
Yep.
because this is unacceptable as an outsider, knowing that this is your
hmm
base, your voting base,
That's
and you
right.
are not supporting the people in a time of crisis. All right, quick follow up, move on. Prayers up to those in
Yep.
Texas, and hoping that you guys are fighting and striving, but I'm hoping your government steps it up a lot more times than they are right now. Nelly and Ashanti,
Oh Lord.
we don't want to get too deep into it, but I sent you a clip. I don't know if you watched it. It
Yeah.
pretty much encapsulates my thought on this whole situation, where there's a clip going around from Nelly and Ashanti's news show, where it's called We Belong Together. Obviously they've had a very public rekindling of their relationship
hmm
that ended up in marriage and a baby on the way. They got married, right? Or at
Yeah.
least
Yeah.
he
No,
yeah.
they did. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the show talks about that, and basically there's a clip going around where he's like, well, when it comes to babies at this stage, I'm paraphrasing, of course, that's the mother, she takes care of it, the mother looks after her. I get involved when he can come and tell me what he wants to eat, or if he wants to play, if he wants to do this, that's when I'll get involved. But right now, pretty much she's changing the diapers and all, dealing with all that baby stuff. I'll just summarize it that way.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, okay, it's one thing to say something for TV, but remember, you are on TV. So even if that's really going on, like, why would you fix your lips to say that
I
in front
don't
of
know. It's
a
so
screen?
crazy.
Even if that's how you really are, because men can really, you really have to be on, especially at his age. He's over 50. I think he might even be a little bit over
Yeah,
50
I
at
think
this
it's
point.
like 51 or so.
Yeah, or
51
yeah,
or 2.
you call
Yeah.
him 50, but he's there.
Yeah.
And maybe he has different values, but or that he saw something different when he was growing up. But in this day and age, fathers are involved in the upbringing of their babies. You help, because there's postpartum. We now know, in with modern medicine, we know that women, more hormonally, are all over the place, and mentally not really 100%. When I went postpartum, and this show, supposedly, I believe they filmed the show when the baby would have been not more than 12 weeks, in that
Yeah.
range of 4 to 12 weeks. Baby would be fairly new. So that's the time when one
hmm
mother is most vulnerable to all those type of,
Yeah.
postpartum things. And to hear your person you married, you rekindled a relationship after many years, thinking that you had this fairy tale situation, not in a fairy tale, but like you got what you wanted and we figured it out
Or so you
eventually.
did things. Yeah.
And he would fix his lips to say that. That is
Thick,
very
blasted, mountain,
distasteful. And it's
stupid.
also like saying, you've been a father, like, so for you to say that, it's like saying, so what, you wifed her up and gave her a child, and I'm sure she wanted a child because she didn't have any yet, and you're just saying you're on your own. Is that what you agreed? Was that
Right?
the arrangement? And to me, like, to say, like, when I sent you that video from Benny's takes,
Uh-huh.
she's on Instagram, she's like, you want the title, but you don't want to have the accountability or show up, so why should you be honored with that title of father if you're not going to act like a father?
Right?
And it's
Right?
simple as that. What did you think of the clip?
Well, I okay. hold on. Before I talk about the clip, I need to, because I've had my foot on this
Mhm.
whole situation
Yes, you have.
from the
Yeah.
very beginning. And I said that, at first I said the only way that he could come back to me is on bended knee. Okay,
Yes,
well,
and then he did.
and
Yeah.
and he did,
Mhm.
and he did, which I'll give him that much. But
Mhm.
Ashanti, girl, did you have the conversations?
Mhm.
That's what I have to ask myself.
Mhm.
Because Nelly fixed his lips to say these words, and therefore that makes me conclude he said them to you too. He said them way before Pickney come into the place. Let me tell you, Nelly has made his point a lot. And this is sometimes as women, we have to stop doing this shit. When we hear someone tell us, this is what I'm willing to do, this is what I'm not willing to do, don't think that you have the magical pum pum of the year and you are going to
Right?
change this man's perspective, his views, what he's willing to do, his beliefs. You can't change nothing, my dear. And I feel like this conversation was had. And I feel like Nelly was bright enough to tell her right off the rip when they started talking back after the 10 years, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, this is where I'm
Mhm.
going, this is where I'm not going.
Yeah.
I think he
Makes.
was bright enough to have that conversation with her at the age that he was. They just got back together. So he would have been like 48,
Mhm.
okay, 49 maybe. This man knew what was coming ahead, okay? um Now, Ashanti has always crossed us over her career as somebody who's very private, who
Mhm. Yep.
doesn't
Yep.
necessarily want her business up in the streets. So I find it very surprising that I see her on a reality TV show, number one.
Mhm.
But I feel like that might have been the fair exchange. I think that's what happened. That Nelly told her, I'm not fixing to do this. She said, well, the only way that I'm going to be with you is if I can have a child and get
Yeah, of
married.
course. Yeah.
Because
That.
her
Mm.
clock's been ticking. She's pronounced it. What,
Yeah.
on an interview with Angie Martinez. Is it
Yes.
Martinez? Yeah.
Yeah.
That she wants a baby, that she wants to have a family. She's already said this, right?
Yeah.
So then she put it to him like, this is what I need in order for us to do this. And then
Yeah.
he said, okay, well, if we can go on a reality TV show, I'll give you a baby. I think that's what happened. Because I don't understand how this man is big and bright and bold to make those type of statements. If he wasn't on a reality TV show, I think he made those statements the way that he did, big and broad and in the public, because he's on this reality. They need viewers.
They need controversy. They need tension. Well, I
Right?
don't. I don't know.
We see
I
the
don't know if I
formula on
picture
how
it.
this works.
I don't know if I picture it that way, but I
I,
definitely
I
do.
think somehow that was the exchange. That
I
was the exchange.
definitely. I don't think he said, "Give me. I'll give you a baby if you have a TV show," but I do think
I
he
think
said some.
so. I
I.
think so. Because
Okay. I.
Nelly has, Ashanti has never ever been this girl to go on a reality TV show. First, second, they also say a reality TV show is a career killer. So, Ashanti's career has been popping. It's been popping. It's never not popped. So, why would you see Ashanti on a reality TV show? I had my mind thinking. And then I said, okay, that's the exchange. You get the reality TV show and I get the baby. She's wanted a baby for so long. It only
I
makes
do. I
sense.
do think that maybe the agreement barring the show, that's, I don't know how that came about, but I do think that he was probably upfront with her when she stated what she wanted, which is obviously marriage and a child, that he's like, I'm happy for us to have a child, but you're going to bear the brunt of that response. I
I'll tell
do
you
my
how it's for
kids,
the
or
show. I'll tell you how because I sat and thought about this because I was like, Ashanti, what the hell are you doing with this man still? Why did you circle back after a 10-year gap? I think that's too long. I don't have a problem with circling back.
Mm,
However, the person has had to have changed. And to be quite honest, Nelly didn't change. He only got worse.
I don't know. I don't
Well,
know that.
that's when we started to hear about different controversies with drugs, with accusations of assault on buses, on tour buses and stuff. If the thing with Nelly is we hear the we hear all of this in the news, okay? And then it subsides for a while. And then it pops up again. If you go back in the last maybe 5 years or so, way before him and Ashanti got back together, he was in the news for the wrong things. He was, accusations of smuggling drugs, accusations of sexual assaults, like all of these things. And then all of a sudden, here comes Ashanti. Now they're back together. Okay, so then there was that whole, oh, look, the turn, spin the block, and da 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 da. Now, Nelly does what? He sells his catalog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, oh, isn't that interesting? Then he sells his catalog. And then Tutu, yeah, the money's starting to dry up already, eh? Because you're still having accusations out here about drugs. Still accusations. Money's drying up. So what do? Oh, we go for a reality TV show. Because Nelly he's not new to the reality TV show.
Yeah, I don't think so.
He's been had them with Miss Jackson. He's
Mm.
been had them. So he already knows what money comes from a reality TV show.
Okay, well that I did not know, so maybe you're right because he
Oh,
already
okay. And
had that
then,
kind of.
because I've been
Mhm.
following Nelly, because I used to love me some Nelly back in the day, okay? It's hot in here. I used to love me some Nelly. But honestly, Nelly has fall off from at least 15 years ago. Okay?
Mhm.
Well, 10 years ago. When him and Ashanti parted ways. So then all of a sudden now we're back on this talks about reality TV show. Oh, okay. So now Ashanti, who is not new to this is new to her, this reality TV show nonsense. We get on the reality TV show, and now you want to embarrass me? Now you want to act like a damn fool on them? What you mean you're not gonna? The baby's crying. You're not gonna get up and help the baby? What? Now you
Yeah,
have
that's
me here
crazy.
on this show looking like a damn fool. You're barely here. Now you're doing inauguration balls and like Richard. You're making me look a fool, a hot fool. Because of all of this, the only one that in my eyes looks a fool is Ashanti. It's the only one.
Yeah.
Because now you're a single mother but married,
Mm. Unacceptable as far as I'm concerned.
as
But
far as I'm concerned. But anyhow, I'm keeping
yeah.
my neck. I'm keeping my foot on this one because honestly, I think Ashanti, you're a beautiful woman. You deserve so much better than Nelly, and there's a reason why you left his ass. You shouldn't have went back unless he changed into an entirely different man. And in his track record, in that 10 years that you guys parted, he didn't change at all. He didn't change at all. He got worse. So I don't know why you spin the block on that fool. I don't know why. But now you have this man has you locked down, and he has you in a reality TV show. I could never ever imagine in my life saying Ashanti was on a reality TV show. Ashanti? Okay. This is the same one that had a full blown relationship with Irv Gotti while he was married. Oh, okay. No, no, it don't sit good. It don't sit good. It don't sit good. But we'll see what's happening with Ashanti and her. Right now, Ashanti, honestly, you need to tell Nelly to shut the hell up because he's acting like a jealous, uh, narcissistic asshole. I'm sorry, he just is. That's your seed. That's your child. Your child needs something, and you're gonna roll over and go back to sleep? Really? That's who you married, Ashanti? Okay, kudos to you, girl. Kudos to you.
Yeah. So quick music news.
Yes, because I listened to this album. It's
So
bomb.
we had the Clips have a new album. We were talking about their first single, Ace Trumpets, a couple of weeks ago. We were excited, and so we wanted to ensure that we were on the pulse for when the album dropped, and there was no way to
Yes.
miss it. This has been an epic rollout, a first class, a master class in how to roll out an album, if you ask
Yes.
me.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so also another album that came out that we're gonna have to talk about next week because we don't have
Yes.
time. Justin Bieber's Swag surprise drop yesterday, and so we are definitely going to talk about this with everything leading up to this release. There was so much
Okay.
going on, and so talking to the music will be very important. I have taken a quick listen, very very good, very There's so much going on, but we'll talk about that next week. So clips, let God sort them out. Okay.
Right?
Okay, let's talk about this. So again, we had the Ace Trumpets single came out, traditional Pharrell, you know, beat, very, heavy, very hard, very musical, very good. Anyway, so now let the album comes out, and I'm gonna just say, first of all, this is their first album in over, I think they said 15 years or something like that.
Wow. Wow.
Because their last album was 2009. So do the math, people.
Wow.
About over 15 years. And so now the clips came about way back in, I think, 2002, Lord Willing, which has that's a hip hop
Mm-hmm.
classic. When the Neptunes had all, were going heavy, and they're so strong with like
Yep.
Khalees, and these were
Yep.
like their first rap duo. They were doing a lot of singing collaborations and stuff, but this was like outside of Noriega. This was
Mm-hmm.
like a full, because Noriega was a few singles, but this was like a full Neptunes album for a rap duo, and they were going hard. And it was like,
Mm-hmm.
and I would say what was interesting with them, because you always need to have some type of dichotomy, right? To me, to make a character or an act be interesting. So what was interesting about their stories, you see these two brothers, and I, like Kim, we thought they were twins. I thought they were twins.
I thought they were
they're
twins. Jenna
they're
had to
not.
tell me.
Pusha
I
T
said,
is
what? They
Pusha T is
weren't.
4 years younger than Malice.
Would have never thought.
Yeah, because Malice, actually, he's been looking good. I seen an interview. Malice looks the younger one. So yes, so the two brothers, and they were very heavy into drug dealing, and particularly cocaine and stuff in their Virginia neighborhood. And so it was interesting because you hear their voice, they don't have very masculine, like,
Nope.
hip hop is hard. They don't have hard voices, like, typical New York or even East West Coast rap is like
Right?
hard. They come, aggressive, and they are very smooth, and they have these
Yes.
very their voices are very light, and like they have like I don't know, it's like a tone. I don't know how to describe it. It's like nasally. I'll say nasally.
Yes.
I don't think it's like soft or anything, but it's just like a tone that's not typical for a black, I wouldn't say
They out of their nose.
it's out of their nose. Yeah, I won't even say it's not even a typical for any, like, a culture or anything. It's just an unusual tone for any
Right.
man. But it's still manly. But it's just that the tone
Very.
is
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
And so you have they have this hardcore, like, drug runners, like literally drug kings, like
Mm-hmm.
based on, the content,
Mm-hmm.
as what. But then you look at them, and they look like, to me, because I thought they were so cute when they came out,
Yeah,
like
me
teddy
too.
bears, and they have
You
that
know.
voice where it's like, and they're smooth, like the way they rap, it's not like aggressive and all over the place. It's very smooth and on the beat, and like calm, like cool and collected.
Yeah, you could tell that these are cool cats. Like if you were in their
Yes.
presence, they would be very
Mm.
chill. Very chill.
Right, but don't mess
No,
around and
like don't
find
talk
out.
to them sideways because they'll
Yeah.
just come along and slit your throat. Like that type of guy, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
so
like
it was
calm,
interesting.
cool, collected, but make you mess around with them. They'll just come along, slit your throat, you're done. And then keep walking. Like
And they
cool as
and
ever.
they they came out with they were the pioneers of what they quote unquote called coke rap, which was previously seen with other rappers like Young Jeezy, Raekwon, and stuff like that. But the thing is, it was a deadly combination of their style of
Yeah.
rapping, very lyrical, very the tone, very smooth, and the Neptune's like hard hitting beats that made them blast out on the scene with Lord Willing. So anyway, we're gonna fast forward to today, where they had lots of success, but eventually, because of Malice's decision to give his life to the Lord, he had a conflict and decided to remove himself from the group. And Pusha T has had a solo career since, and he's
Hmm.
been successful as a solo artist. The brothers are now back together for this album. Their parents, one of the stories that they've been talking about with the rollout and their interviews, is their parents have both their parents died recently within 4 months of each other's, first
Wow.
mom, then their dad. And so the opening track is very beautiful, and that's why I'm going to call out my tracks.
Mhm.
It's called "The Birds Don't Sing." Birds don't sing; they screech something something,
Mhm.
and very beautiful song talking about the lessons that their parents taught them and that they're going to go with for their lives. So very beautiful. John Legend, he's going to make it soulful.
Right.
So that's, I would just say, let's just say the first 7 tracks had me on lock.
Well,
Okay, if I'm honest, it's the first 5, but the other ones going up into mother Mike Tyson blow to the face.
right?
Even that one is crazy. Up to there, I'm totally locked in.
Right
And
now,
then
the one that
mhm,
has me in a chokehold is By the
mhm.
Grace of God.
Yeah, the
It
last, yep,
has
it's beautiful.
me in a chokehold. That and Ace Triumphs or
Ace trumpets, yeah.
Trumpets, they
Hmm.
got me in a chokehold. Like I listened to the entire thing, right? But I
Hmm.
had to, before moving on, I had
Hmm.
to listen to both of those songs back to back
Yeah,
because okay, by the grace of God, it seems like what they're talking about is surviving this lifestyle that
of
they've had
course,
for so long
yeah.
because they've had it for at least a good 20 years.
Over 20, yeah, 2002. So over,
Okay?
call it 25 years.
So the fact that they came out, and he says it in the song,
Hmm.
he's like, the fact that we're not dead or that we're not in jail is the grace of God. It has to be
Hmm.
the grace of God, right? And
Hmm.
so those two songs really do have me in a chokehold. I think the whole album is sick, and
Hmm.
I think I have to give all the rest of those songs more of a chance.
Yeah, no, yeah, and yeah, exactly. And what I was gonna say is, yeah, I think usually, they talk about an album. There's so much that goes into it. The cover, the rollout, which I talked is
Right?
a first is a master class, and then even the listing, the track listing, and so I would say everybody's different, but I say most recent albums are always gonna front end the songs that they know that are gonna resonate because of the way streaming works.
Right.
I think that's why. So but when I listen to an album, it's after I get to the fifth listen where I'm going to appreciate the beauty of the
Right.
second half, where those might not be the first ones they knew, those weren't going to be the first ones to grab people, but there's a lot going on. And I believe that. So, By the Grace of God is a outro track, and it makes sense based on what they opened the album with, which is
Yes.
that ode to their dead parents. But anyway, I'm just saying to say the first 5 tracks
Yeah.
had me in a chokehold, and that's "The Birds Don't Sing," "Chains and Whips" featuring Kendrick Lamar,
Yes, I love that.
POV,
Yes. Hmm.
POV, which supposedly they got in trouble with Def Jam and got released because they did this track with Kendrick Lamar. I don't know. There's more to that story. I'm gonna look into it, but
Oh.
POV with Tyler the Creator goes hard, hard, hard. Love it. So be
Kendrick
it.
knows how to get himself out of contracts. I mean, jeez. Anyhow,
Yeah,
no.
it,
Side note. I'm just
and then Ace Trumpets, of course, was the fifth track. So yeah, the first 5 tracks, you can't go wrong, listeners. Definitely check them out. This is hip hop
and the
royalty.
actual song. I think it's "Let God Sort 'Em Out." The actual song of the album, isn't there?
Yeah, yes, that's the second to last track. Nas is on that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I love me some Nas, but
Hmm.
and I think I always will because Nas is very he's like a split between like a gangster rapper for me and like a
Conscience.
conscious rapper for me.
Hmm.
He's like the combo guy. So I
Hmm.
love me some Nas, but yeah, the actual track "Let God Sort 'Em Out" is a really good track. Like you
Hmm.
guys need to just listen to the damn
Yeah, just
album,
like listen, they did the NPR Tiny Desk. Oh, I loved it. Pusha T, you could see the joy in his
right?
face of performing with his brother again, and it was as somebody who was exposed to them when I was in high school, and I was
Right?
like, I was in love with, I was in Neptune's head. So anybody
Yeah,
they work with, I'm going to check out. But
yeah,
the fact
yeah.
that it was hardcore hip hop, like coke, like they said, coke rap.
What?
I
Dave
was
couldn't
like,
stop
damn, these
mentioning
beats.
the coquina, man.
Yeah.
I'm
So
like,
it was
Jesus.
crazy. So I'm so happy as I'm thinking of my younger self and hearing them and they've matured. That's the same another thing. If you're going to be nearly 50 years old, rapping, this is the caliber of rapping. You have to show your growth. You're a
Right?
grown person. You have to, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's why these people like Jay-Z and everything, people want to make fun of age, but their hip hop reflects their growth.
Well, that's the thing. And
You can't be, yeah, go ahead.
the I think the vital thing that you have to remember is when to fold them, when to
Mm,
call it quits, when to say this is the last body of work I'm going to make. And with especially with Jay, like I think he realized I only got this left. That's all I got. This last album right here, 444. That's all I got left, and I'm gonna leave it on a high note.
I don't know. The thing is, you never know with artists. They can always release an
That's
album.
true. They can always,
Yeah.
but an album, and you know what? I think Beyonce said it best. Like
Hmm.
nowadays, they don't have a body of work,
Mm.
right? And when you hear a body of work like this album
This
that
is
we're
a
talking about,
body of work.
this is
Yes,
a body
bodied.
of work. This is what it should
Hmm.
sound like. This is what it should look like, right out, right down to the rollout. Because when Ace trumpets came, I was like, okay, Eclipse, what we doing? What we doing? Right? And I couldn't wait to hear the album. That's the right rollout to a body of work. If you don't have a body of work, then they're just a whole bunch of singles, if you ask me.
Exactly. And one of the things that tie it together before we move on, and I didn't think I mentioned this, is that Pharrell produced everything on this.
Yeah.
So it was kind of going back to their Lord Willing days. And what I appreciated, again, as a fan of Pharrell and the early Neptunes, is that he did kind of go back to their old simple beat style.
Yeah.
Because Pharrell has done so many things musically.
Yeah.
He's grown so much musically in the past 20 years. He's done so many things, but there was a distinct sound. Sorry, a distinct sound that the Neptunes had, um, and he has captured that soul.
He went back to his roots.
He went back to his roots,
He sure
and I
did.
appreciate. And that's one of the things again that make this a great body of work, because you have one kind of vision in terms of the
Right?
sound. And yeah, so that's another thing. So
Yes. And we
kudos,
heard
congrats
lots
to
about the
them, and
coquina.
I'm looking
Lots.
forward to seeing all the success. They're going to start going on tour next month. So continued success to them.
Yes, yes. I hope all the best. This album, honestly, it's nice to see two brothers come back together and perform again. And it's also nice to see that the one that left, I think, is Malice, right?
Yes.
When he left, he's staying true to God even though he came
Yes. Yeah.
back.
Hmm.
Even though he came back, he didn't leave God out, in the cold. He's keeping God in the presence of this album, and it does show a collaborative
Yep.
effort between him and his brother.
Hmm.
Their worlds kind of coming together
I agree.
again, right? And I still can't believe these people aren't twins. I don't care what nobody tells me. These people, okay, their genes are strong, okay, like strong. You can't ever say they're not brothers because they look like
Yeah.
twins. But you know what? Let's move on to our last topic here.
Yeah, it was Wagwan for
Wagwan
real.
for real.
And in this segment, we look at stories that don't make much sense. It's hard to make them add up. We hear them, we see them, and we have to ask the age old question in our mother's tongue: what a guan for real?
For real.
And in this case, we are talking about the Diddy verdict.
Yep.
The Diddy verdict came out. The sentencing, I think, is in the next few weeks, but
Yes.
the verdict has been out.
He's still in jail,
And
people. He's still in jail. He's gonna be there for a little longer.
he's going to be there for a while, and they tried
Hmm.
his thing tried to get him out, but the judge was like, not
Nah, fam, we're not having
having it.
it. Sorry about your luck. Yeah, well, we see, with this Diddy trial, hi vey, it's been pressing. It's been pressing, and Diddy is still gonna be in jail. They're trying to his lawyer, like you just said, was trying to get him out on bail,
Yeah.
which was denied. You
Yep.
are still in the jail, and they aren't going to probably sentence him until September, October. So, or at least that's
Yeah,
where they're
they did.
thinking of, right?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a while. I think, yeah, somewhere. Definitely not this month. Let's just put it this way: he has a while to wait. So basically, I'll do a breakdown of the counts, and then we can maybe go from there.
Yes.
So the
because he
verdict was
has so many
delivered.
damn counts. Hmm.
The verdict was delivered, and it sparked a massive range of reactions, and celebrations, and a lot of weird stuff, if you ask me. But so count one, racketeering conspiracy, not guilty. This was one of the bigger ones. They had a difficult. This is the RICO. This is pretty much the RICO charge. So that's not guilty.
It's hard to
Count.
prove an entire
Yeah, it's
enterprise.
hard, and because basically knowing what people have been charged with RICO, so young Thug was facing a RICO charge, but he had clear connections to gang activities, so that
Yeah,
makes that's clear to me
yeah.
as somebody on the outside. But with Diddy, it's like he was running a business, so it's a little bit more. It's more of a gray area. You could definitely run a business like a organized crime, but I think it's just harder to prove. Okay, count two: sex trafficking of Cassandra Ventura, not guilty. Um, yeah, I'm not surprised by this one as well because it's
Hmm.
another gray area. There's like too much gray area to really, I think, I confidently charge him for this.
They kind of
Um,
did a little bit. Go on with the,
mm,
because he didn't traffic, but he ended up being charged for transporting.
yeah, so I'm gonna keep going,
Yeah,
but not her.
yeah,
I'm saying, and
yeah,
the sex trafficking when it comes to her,
yeah,
not guilty.
yeah.
Okay, count three, man act transportation. So that's where it says the transportation any woman or girl for the purpose of prostitution. So
Mhm,
that's the one that you're talking about. So he got
mhm,
found guilty of
mhm.
that one. Then count four, the same act, man act of transportation for Jane Doe, which we all know now is 50 Cent's baby mama. I don't remember her name. So those are the two counts that he was found guilty of, as transportations for the purpose of prostitution, but not actual trafficking. So sex trafficking is defined as a recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision. So he got charged for the transportation only, but just sex trafficking involves a lot more things,
Yeah.
so that's why he was not found guilty on that. So those were the major charges, the federal charges. And so as you can see, he was found guilty of the two most minor ones, if you ask me.
Yep.
And so that was how it played out, and there was celebrations outside the courtroom, supposedly by rumor, because Wiggins is a another content creator, let's call him that, but he talks a lot about pop culture and stuff on his channels, and he was there, and he was with the crowd of doing foolishness of, I think some people were spraying baby oil or something like
Baby
that.
oil. Yeah.
I didn't actually watch the video because it just sounded so distasteful for me.
It
And but
is.
he
Yeah.
and I was surprised by him, but he's like, it was just supposed to be entertainment. I don't believe that, I'm not on Diddy's side. I'm not like, against, I'm against the crimes against women and all this stuff, blah blah blah. But I'm like, at first I was like, maybe you got caught up, but then I'm like, no, like, because if you really are against this whole thing that Diddy stands for, you wouldn't be making a joke of it. Like the fact
No.
that he was like pretty much only charged with the
Serious
least
of
the
offenses.
least
Yeah.
serious of offenses,
Yeah.
yes, exactly, is already crazy. um I always thought this case was going to be hard to convict. I remember you have always been saying that like the prosecution has been doing a good job, but I'm
They
saying,
have, but it's
but the jury, but remember, it's a jury, it's not a judge. I feel like if it was a
right,
judge,
right.
it would be different, but because remember, jury, you face chances of ignorance, influence, like you never know. There's too many variables
Well, that
when you
was
have
an
a
issue that
jury.
they were having over the course of the trial was that
Mhm.
some of the jurors they thought would have okay. Diddy is a big deal. Everybody
Yes.
knows about him.
Yes.
Everybody
Yeah.
knows of him, has heard of him, knows about him in some shape or form. So for you to find a juror that has nothing to know, nothing to
That's
do,
impossible.
it's impossible. So you kind of have to work with what you got, right? And I find that the jurors, I think they were looking for open and shut proof. And there's no such
That's
thing,
not with this kind of case.
not with
Absolutely
this
not.
type of you're trying to charge someone for RICO, right? And so you have to be able to prove that it was an entire enterprise from start to finish. And I think that the prosecution was doing a good job. However, where they are going to fall short is that everybody in that long line of people would have to say he made me do it. And the defense would definitely be able to argue that a lot of the things that people did was done out of fear, right? And not necessarily you had to do this to keep your job, or you had to do this. It's like you have to be able to prove that Diddy came to that maid and said, you need to run these drugs from room to room or from
Hmm.
house to house, or I'm going to kill you on site. Now, a lot of what people did, it was purely because of their own imagination as well. They automatically said, well, Diddy is a powerful somebody, so he could kill me if I don't do what he says. So is that an instruction, or is that something that you have built in your head and then followed? Not saying you don't have reason to build those things in your head, but it's not an instruction from a boss. It's not. So a lot of the moves that people were making, it's hard to prove whether or not they're being controlled, or whether or not they've allowed their imagination and fear to run wild to the point where they've talked themselves into doing it. So, how do you prove that? How do you prove that the maid didn't just, she might have seen something and felt a way, and why didn't she leave the job then? Why didn't she quit? What about all the, like, you would have to be able to prove that everybody on his payroll knew that what they were getting into when they signed up to be a part of that job. And it's hard to do that. People are not going to want to come forward. Look, 50's baby mother is trying to call herself Jane Doe. Like, come on, girl. We all know that it's you, right? Now, imagine the stylist, imagine the assistant, the one that did his grocery shopping, the chef, you'd have the security guard, how many of them he's had, the guy that flew the plane. How are you going to prove that the guy that flew the plane knew that he was trafficking women as a job description for Diddy? Like, you can't, it's hard to do that. And so the defense can poke holes at every part of him, of the prosecution trying to prove that. And so I think that they kind of pivoted halfway through the trial and started to focus on the lesser of the crimes, in which they were successful in getting him the verdict that they wanted. However, we have to think that the lesser of these crimes, the total time that Diddy could do is 10 years. For both of those crimes, 10 years. Now, if he's on good behavior, which we've also heard all these conversations about Diddy is a model prisoner. He's out here in the prison being a model prisoner, being a nice guy. So for good behavior, he could get off early. Plus, he's already sat down in jail for almost a year. Then time served. So by time we take that 10-year cap, if the judge goes for the 10 years, he would have already done just about half the time. So he might not even do any time, which I think is the saddest part of this equation. Because a lot of people have put their themselves on the line. Diddy does not cross me as a person who isn't resentful, who isn't revengeful. He will come after these people. And this is why we heard, Cassie's lawyer come out with letters and stuff saying, please don't let his ass out, don't let him out, don't no bail, we need the maximum time, and da 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 da. And they might get it because this judge, he doesn't seem to like Diddy, and not that he's supposed to be impartial, right? I get that. However, a lot of judges can be bought.
Of course.
And I think that there are people who Diddy has messed with, who he has videotapes of, who he has knowledge that they don't want to come out. And I could see them buying off that judge. And I can see them paying off that judge to give him the maximum amount of time for the crimes that he has been convicted of. And so I do see him doing some time, because I've never seen a judge deny bail so quick. This man is denying bail left, right, and damn center. Remember when, before the trial started, he tried with the bail 3 times, denied each and every time. He tried this time, denied again. So at this point, I think his defense lawyers are trying to put together something for an appeal if they don't get the time that they want in October, September. So right now, to be quite honest, this is not over. This is far from over, because we need to see how much time they're going to give him. And if they give him less than 10 years, if he walks out of that jail in October, all hell going to break loose, because it's setting a precedent. It's setting a precedent for the rest of the world and the rest of these billionaires who are doing these scandalous shits behind our backs. It's sending a message to them that they can continue doing what they're doing, and even if they get caught, and even if they get berated, and even if they're in the news, they'll still make it out. They'll still get out of jail. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays off. But ultimately, I think the prosecution did the best that they could. They
Hmm.
were doing well, but I think they saw it was going to take too much to try to prove every person that was ever employed in the last 20 years with Diddy was a part of this whole, sex trafficking, whatever. And we can see, even in the trial, that Diddy, even though he was very bright and he would say whatever the hell came to his mind, he still kept this on a low, because there are some very famous people who had no idea that this is what he was doing. So there was a different class of celebrity that knew exactly what was going on, that was taking part in these freak offs, that knew that these freak offs were actually freak offs. So I think there's a larger scale of celebrities that had no idea quite what was going on behind the scenes. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in late September, early October. We will definitely have to say something about it then.
During the sentencing. Yep.
Yep. But in terms of how do you feel about him not being convicted for
Mhm.
more of the four?
I think I always was skeptical. Like, you were the one who was like, Jeanette, no, the prosecution is breaking it down this way, so it's like, dude, it's possible. But I never thought that they, and to me, and this was when the case started, why I was concerned, because I'm like, it sounds like they're using all the details that Cassie shared in her lawsuit,
Yeah.
to which they did. Now we know that now that
Yeah.
the case is over, they pretty much use all the information that she provided in that lawsuit to create this, bring the charges against him. And so what my assumption, though, when he was arrested and there was a court date,
Hmm.
was that we were going to get a lot more outside of what we've already learned.
That's what I
um
thought too.
so that's
Yeah.
when I saw that that's not what was going to happen. I was always more on the, I'd be surprised if he got charged, if he really got charged with the heavy hitting charges. So I'm
Yeah.
not surprised that he didn't get all the heavier, like the trafficking and the RICO charges. I'm not surprised.
I think if the
What I am
prosecution had more time,
disappointed,
they would have proved it, though. If they had more time,
yeah,
this judge
yeah,
was not playing.
yeah, he, it was very tight court. Yeah, he didn't want this to be
Nope.
a circus. He knew it was going to be a circus, so he just wanted to cut the time that the circus
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
going to be happening. It was a circus. We couldn't get away from that. But I
Nope.
think he didn't want to have this long drawn out,
No.
like how the OJ case was
Yeah.
like so drawn
Remember?
out. And
Jeez, man. OJ couldn't come off my TV.
whew,
Um.
but I will say what I'm disappointed in. Like, I'm not
Mhm.
surprised he's not charged, but I am disappointed in kind of like the reaction of certain people. But
Yeah.
I do, right, and that at the end of the day, and I think more mature people, if you have a clear mind,
Yeah.
how I'm looking at it is that, okay, legally the courts can't charge him because they don't have enough of the evidence for these type
Mhm.
of charges. They're very serious charges.
Life. It's
Fine,
life.
but
Mhm.
I what I want is Diddy better keep himself quiet once
Okay.
this is done.
Oh, okay.
That's all I gotta say. And two, something that I wanted to mention, his daughters, I follow a fashion site on Instagram called Fashion Bomb Daily,
Mhm.
and they actually have a youth site as well. So they did a cross post where the twins
Wow.
are announcing a little clothing line. Can't
Oh,
remember the name. I'm
wow.
sorry. I was like, time too soon, ladies.
You are
I don't
your
normally
father's
come.
daughter. Like Jesus.
I don't normally comment on this stuff, but ladies, it's too soon. I know your dad got off most of the charges, but you needed to wait, at least wait a couple months, let all this die down. This is not a
Right?
bad timing. So I just thought it was, I like, they're children, they're young ladies, are innocent in all of this. I'm not blaming it, and I'm
No.
happy that they're finding success and something for them to do. But
Yeah,
I
but
just
read the
think the
room.
timing, the
Sure.
timing was very, very distasteful, in my opinion.
Read the damn room. It's
So
not the
I'm just
room.
disappointed more in kind of like the misogyny against women, and just this weird stuff that people are saying. Like, to me, Diddy is still a dirtbag. I don't care what you need to be charged, if whether he was charged or not. Like, this what I've heard. Forget the rumors. What I've heard, what was said
Right?
on the seat in front of the court was enough for me to be
Yep.
completely done
Um,
with him.
and the thing is that my last opinion on this until we actually get the sentencing is
Yes.
that Diddy might get off from
Hmm.
spending time in jail,
Yeah.
but there ain't gonna be shit for him to do once he's out
Yeah.
of jail.
I love how you said that. Yeah.
There ain't gonna be nothing for him to do when he's out of jail. So, okay, well, you're not in jail, and you're not gonna have the same money that you once had. You're not going to have the same repertoire with the world.
Mm-hmm.
And sad but true, your kids, right, are now facing their own legalities.
Mm.
So you're still going to have a taste of legal and law and the courts. You're still going to have a taste of that. Okay. Because your kids are now being sued as well. So even though he might come out of jail, we have to ask ourselves, is he really though? Is he really coming out of jail? You're not behind bars, but your life is done. So you're not going to be, you see, Diddy always loved to be the center of attention. He wanted to be that star. This is why he had the platform shoes for the stripper shoes for
Mm-hmm.
the videos and all sorts of stuff. Why? Because he's always wanted to be an entertainer. And I think if you really want to gut him, take that away.
He's been hurt. He's been deeply hurt by this, for sure.
Okay? Take that away. Because he doesn't have nearly as much money as we think he has.
Oh no.
Okay, no, he doesn't. He's probably had to sell off a good chunk of his properties and stuff like that in order to pay for this. And
Mm-hmm.
those lawyers that were able to get him from serving life, yeah, they're going to cost a pretty penny.
Oh
Uh
yeah.
huh. Yeah. And we're not going to be generating money the way that we used to be generating money. And I wouldn't be surprised if all of these artists that you stiffed over the years start to sue you one after the next.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised. So even though you're not behind a physical bar, your life is done. So there will be no producing any more music. There will be no working with anybody. You're a piranha. Nobody's going to want to stand with you at the BET Awards. Best believe me. Okay? Nobody's going to want you. Your moment of fame might, you might have a little trickle of it left once you come out of jail, because there's going to be those people
Oh
out there
yeah, yeah. I
who
think
want
because
the interview and all of
mhm.
that, and
Yeah, of course,
tell
of
us how.
course.
Yeah, but once the dust has settled and you have to face yourself, you don't have nothing left, Diddy. So you might as well be behind bars, right? But hopefully your family's gonna figure it out. And when you talk about the girls coming out with this clothing line,
Hmm.
Diddy has crossed me as a very tricky and savvy type of person.
Of
And
course.
I don't think it's their clothesline. I think it's his. And
Hmm.
I think that Diddy is going to try his best to use his children as a
Hmm.
lifeline to continue the
Of
lifestyle
course.
he had before all of this happened. But now he's under a microscope, right? And so the chances of him being able to be successful is going to be slim to none. People are going to be watching what he's doing like a hawk. The police are going to be on him like a hawk. All those people that you recorded on those tapes, all these celebrities that were supposedly your friends that haven't said a word, yeah, you are a piranha. Nobody's going to want to deal with you. It might actually make more sense for you to be behind bars at this point, because somebody's going to want to mess with you in the jail. Nobody's going to want to mess with you out on the street. No one's going to want to take a picture with you, seen close to you, shaking your hand. Nobody's going to want nothing from you. So, and even your kids, after a while, people are going to want to, they're going to look at them sideways too. So,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's too soon. I think we will be gracious with the kids, but we need some time. We need some time. Give us some time,
right?
please.
And I think I don't know if a clothing line is the best route to go. Like, I think they just need to do something altogether different. Altogether different. Can we have somebody write a book? Or not even book. Come out of the entertainment altogether. We need to put the entertainment down. Can somebody become a doctor up in this? Like something. But either which way, you know what? It's been interesting to see this journey and this trial. It is very sad that the prosecution wasn't able to provide more evidence. I wanted Diddy under the jail.
Mm.
Um, and so anything short of that, for me, I really don't give a shit. If he's not under the jail, to me, he's free. That's how I look at it. If he's not the type of things this man did, if he's not under the jail. But anyhow, you know what? I think Diddy will be just fine. I think he's been managing and holding himself, up well enough in jail and all of that. And at this point, I don't give a damn. He could die under the jail. I don't give a shit. Um, Diddy's just one of those people. He's a monster, right? And he's brought awareness, just like Harvey Weinstein, just like what was the other one's name? Epstein. They all brought awareness that this entertainment industry, beware, beware. But in the meantime, in between time, we do hope that your hearts and minds were activated on this week's show. So whether you lead with your heart or your mind, please stay passionate and thoughtful. We'll talk to y'all real soon. Bye.
Bye.